What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for another player ratings. The FA Cup third round 5-0 against Marine, which was, a brilliant occasion for everyone involved. Marine, players, fans, people that have houses backing onto the stadium. Jurgen Klopp even made an appearance. Great day for players like Alfie Devine, Harvey White, Jack Clark as well, getting a run out. So you got to say, just a great day all round, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a fun day. It was a fun game to watch. A lot of goals, chances. Also a bit of relief. When a lot of the Spurs fans before the game were like, "Oh, we're going to screw this up. Is this going to be the greatest shock of all time?" You can always rely on Spurs to screw these kind of things up. But it was an easy day at the end, and I think good for the confidence, good to get minutes on the pitch for a lot of the fringe players, and good for a lot of the senior players to get a rest. So it's all good.
All right, let's get into the player ratings. Let's start off with Joe Hart. We gave him a 6. Largely untested, to be honest. But what he did have to do was, in the opening 20 minutes, a Marine player had a shot from around 20-25 yards. Joe Hart looked to jump for it and then kind of left it after he jumped for it, which was a bit weird. And then it kind of dipped onto the bar, which was a kind of nervy moment. If that goes in, Joe Hart is the laughing stock of the game, to be honest. But it didn't go in. And apart from that, didn't really have much else to do. Yeah,
it could have been left with egg on his face if that went differently. But luckily, went off the bar, looped up in the end. He dealt with it. And yeah, that's the only thing. I think it was probably his only touch of the game.
Yeah. Let's move on to Matt Doherty. We gave him a 6. I thought there were some sloppy moments in there, some sloppy passes, but all in all, I thought he got up and down the pitch pretty well, grabbed himself an assist for the second goal, for Vinicius' second goal. But still, I'm still looking for him to contribute more in the game, and especially against a team 8 divisions below us. You really thought Matt Doherty was going to have a proper commanding display, but really didn't pan out that way.
Yeah, it was another kind of average game from him. He got a nice assist for Vinicius' second goal with a nice run and volley, which forced a good save out of the keeper, which fell to Vinicius for a tap-in. But it was just average again. He didn't dominate that right. Well, he did dominate the right hand side, but he wasn't really providing much quality there when he got in the position. So I'm expecting more from him. Yeah, I agree.
Moving on to Toby Alderweireld, we gave him a 7. I thought he kind of dealt with everything he had to do. There was one chance where Joe Rodon made a bit of a slip up, and you really thought Toby Alderweireld should have been there, and it kind of drifted past him. The ball was going faster than he could run, to be honest, or maybe he was just caught out, which was probably the better option of the two, or the more likely option of the two. But Joe Rodon bailed him out. But apart from that, nothing to note really from today.
Yeah, went off half-time, didn't he? So, look, he didn't have too much defending to do apart from that one moment. And I thought his passing, maybe not up to the usual standard that we know of Toby.
The thing is, he's usually doing those pings on a much bigger pitch.
That's also true. Yeah, the pings, he had to kind of adjust, and he didn't quite adjust it right. But look, not much to say really about him.
Moving on to Joe Rodon, we gave him an 8. Everyone was very excited to see Joe Rodon in the starting lineup. Obviously, he hasn't played since that Chelsea game, and I thought he was our best defender on the night. Really calm, really assured, strong, physical, quick. And that was all epitomised in that one moment where he kind of let the ball slip from him, and what a recovery run he made, and what a recovery challenge. Yes, I know it's against a team that's 8 divisions below us, but you can only play with what's put in front of you, and I thought Joe Rodon played really well.
I agree. I thought it was a really solid game, confident display as well. I thought he really marshalled that backline really well, and he was mopping up anything that came over his head or over the top. And look, obviously it's one of the easiest games you'll have, but that block was really was a fantastic block considering the position he was in when the shot was about to be taken. He did really well to go over and cover. But yeah, I thought we still haven't conceded a goal, I believe, with Joe Rodon on the pitch.
It's 2 games, yeah.
So still one's against Chelsea. Was this the first start since Chelsea?
Mm-hmm.
Did he not start another game?
No.
Wow. Yeah. So there you go. But look, I've been impressed from what I've seen so far from Joe. But yeah, look, there's a lot of tougher tests to come for him.
Moving on to Ben Davis, we gave him a 6. Played 70 minutes on the night, limping off actually. With Reguilon coming on. Sad to see him limping off because he's played really well the last 3 or 4 games, and I think we're going to miss him, to be honest, with the games coming thick and fast. But
who knows if he's injured? Yeah, we don't know if he's injured.
Yeah, I mean, if he is injured, we are going to miss him. But in terms of his performance, I thought he did fairly well. Nothing too bad, nothing too good, just a standard display.
I thought he was getting in better positions than Doherty was. He was getting in behind a lot of the times, and he was being found really well. But he didn't show enough quality in the final third to kind of get any assists or anything. So it was an average display. I thought he was getting up the pitch really well, but should have done more when he was getting those positions.
Let's move on to Musa Sissoko. We gave him a 6. Still, yeah, it was an all right display from Musa. Again, a bit similar to Ben Davis, putting himself about. Lack of quality on the ball as usual. But there was just no space in there in the middle of the park for him.
I actually thought he found space pretty well.
Do you think so?
I thought he did in that central mid.
I thought there were a couple of moments, but I thought in terms of Sissoko and the quality he has in terms of physicality, you would think he would be finding those positions a bit more than he did.
I thought in that
Against
first
that quality,
half,
anyway.
I thought in the first half he dominated. He really dominated the midfielders, and he was finding quite a bit of space and opening up for the team. I thought he did a pretty good job. I remember saying in that first half they made him look like Prime Yaya Toure. I thought he had a pretty. He went off at half time, but I thought he had a pretty good half, and I thought he contributed well to the team. So yeah, I thought he was pretty decent.
Yeah, look, I agree with you, but I just feel like against that opposition, he should be impacting it a bit more than he did.
I don't think that's true.
All right. Anyway, let's move on to Harvey White. We gave him an 8. Really impressive display from Harvey White. I said it before in the pre-season. He looked really good and beyond his age, and he looked at that again on the last night against Marine. I thought. He got the ball on the deck. He was passing it nicely. He was finding gaps. He was finding spaces, always looking to make stuff happen. And I thought he was linking up with the other midfielders quite well. So I was really impressed with Harvey.
Yeah, confident and assured display in that central midfield. He was looking for the ball all the time. He wasn't scared to get on the ball, looking for forward passes, knitting the play together. I thought it was a really confident display by Harvey White. So a really nice first start for Spurs.
Yeah.
And, he was taking free kicks and stuff as well, although the quality was a bit lacking from those free kicks. But
he's supposed to be a bit of a specialist, free kick
specialist. Which is a bit of a shame. He didn't really show it yesterday. But I thought in open play in general, I thought it was a really nice display from him. And hopefully he'll have a big future here at Spurs.
Definitely. Let's move on to Jedson Fernandez. We gave him a 6, which looks like could be his last 90 minutes or last appearance for Spurs. I think first half, I was quite impressed with Jedson. I think that, there were a few sloppy moments in there from him, but I thought he linked up really well with Dele Alli in that first half. Second half, I felt he was a bit anonymous and kind of drifted out of the game. But I think 6 is a fair rating for him.
I think I kind of disagree in a bit. I think in the first half he did link up really well with Dele, but I felt like whenever he got in that position on that right hand side, he looked a bit lost when he was kind of being forced to kind of come up with a bit of quality, like a pass or a cross or something like that. I don't think he didn't really do that, but when he was linking up with Dele in that central area in the half space just outside the penalty area, I thought he was doing quite well and they were finding good positions. But then in the second half, I agree. But the second half, late in the second half, when he moved centrally, I thought he actually improved. I thought he was actually quite good in that position when he moved centrally in the second half. I think he started off, I believe, on the right and then moved centrally. If I remember rightly.
It's true. But I felt that
I agree with you. In the first part of the second half, he was a bit lost. But I think in the second part of the second half, when he moved centrally, I actually thought he improved quite a bit and it was decent. But look, it's going to be his last game for Spurs, isn't it? We're not going to see him again.
Yeah, I think in the first half, he saw a lot more of the ball than he did in the second half, and he was a lot more involved. Let's move on to Lucas Moura. We gave him an 8. I thought it was a really good display from Lucas. He was really getting the ball on the ground, taking on his man, taking on the next man. He really was having fun out there, especially in the first half. Great free kick as well. And a really nice assist to go with it as well.
Yeah, I thought he was a nuisance for the Marine backline all day. Every time he picked the ball up, he was looking to dribble past a couple of players and create something, get shots off and stuff. So he was playing on the left-hand side and it kind of suited him for this one. And that free kick, I think he saw the keeper was positioning was all over the place for that goalkeeper for the free kick, and he just went keeper side, a lot of power, a lot of whip, got it on target, and it was a really nice finish. I think any Premier League goalkeeper probably saves it.
Probably.
But I think it was in terms of the game, I think it was a good strike. And did he go for half time, or we went off late in the early in the second half?
He got 65 minutes under his belt.
Solid game from him.
All right, let's move on to Dele Alli. We gave him an 8. Really, really impressive. Well, I would say really impressive, but it's the opposition, really. So good display from Dele.
Yeah.
I thought everything, especially in the first half, that was good with Spurs was coming through him. They couldn't really deal with him. He was playing at kind of 2 second gear maybe at most, and he was walking around, strolling around, and they just couldn't get near him really. I remember sometimes where he had about 2 or 3 players around him, and he would just walk around them or pass it around them. It was like a stroll in the park for Dele Alli, and I thought that he did really well. He was impressive.
It was too easy for him, I felt at times. He really was just, he would get the ball and stand still and just like look for the passes. Like it was like they couldn't get near him, and I thought his couple of assists for the assists for the opening 2 goals were really good.
The pre-assist as well for Doherty to play it to Vinicius.
That's what I meant. Now, so because that was kind of a assist because Doherty's shot was saved. It was a nice pass by Dele, and I thought he was looking up really well with the forward line. And it's good that he was having a good display and didn't let this game pass him by like he could have done. And I think it was important for him to have a good game, because it could have been easy for him to have a bit of a subdued performance, then everyone's getting on his back again. But at least he took it seriously, got a couple of assists, and I think Jose was happy with him. So look, you can only do what's put in front of you at this point, and we know that. This season hasn't been the easiest for him. And I'm not saying this is going to be a turning point because it's only Marine, but it's just good. It's better to have a good display than a bad display, isn't it? So.
Of course. And I felt that for the first 2 goals, that his first assist, really, really clever ball to put it on a plate for Vinicius. And the second ball was also a really, really clever ball to find Doherty. So it's good he's finding these kind of rhythms.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the last of the starting 11, Carlos Vinicius. We gave him a 9, got a hat-trick. His first 2 goals were very kind of... maybe you would say the first one's a bit lucky. He miscontrols it and takes it round the keeper, but good reactions to kind of recover from miscontrolling the ball.
Yeah.
Second one, very easy. Just, nobody's missing that except for maybe Timo Werner. And the third one was just a lovely, lovely finish. Lob, showing his Brazilian samba style, lobbing from just inside the area with a lovely, lovely finish. So you got to say, apart from those 3 goals, was he really much involved?
Well, he had that chance right at the end, didn't he? Which he blazed wide. He probably should have scored to make it 4 goals for him.
Yeah.
I think that third goal was probably the first time we've really seen that his finishing ability come to the fore, because all his other goals have been pretty much tap-ins, haven't they?
Mm-hmm.
You think about the one where Dele Alli sets him up against Ludogorets, easy tap-in, right? The one with the free kick with Bale scored when he on the rebound from Bale's free kick.
At least he's getting in the positions.
Yeah, so the free kick, so he's getting positions well, and he's getting there for the tap-ins, which is important. I think the poacher role is underrated, because some players, they just stand around and they don't anticipate where the ball's going, and they don't anticipate where the ball's going to fall. So clearly his positioning is good there. But that third goal was where we really saw his really good finishing ability and a bit of touch of class with that little lob inside the area to beat the keeper. I thought that was a really good touch of class from him. I want to see more of that. And it's a bit of a weird one with Vinicius, because he's got good goal scoring record when he's played, but he just doesn't seem to be trusted in games other than Europa League and FA Cup games, does he? So we'll have to. But then again, I was, when we were talking to David Harris, he pointed out, because I tweeted maybe an explanation why he has been playing in Premier League games. And you think about it, we've pretty much been winning in every Premier League game going into the last 15 minutes. Apart from how many games? So have we? Apart from maybe Chelsea, we haven't been winning. And the one game where we weren't winning, he was brought on against West Brom. So all the other games, you wouldn't necessarily bring him on when you're winning, would you? So
yeah, I get that. But also, for players to find rhythm, they need minutes.
Yeah.
So for him sitting on the bench, or him not coming on or whatever, is only doing him harm. Yes, I know
it's
that
a team game. It's not about individuals. So
exactly.
Mourinho's got to do what's right for the team.
Yeah, but I don't think it would be a detriment to the team to bring him on and give him minutes to get his rhythm up.
No, I get that, but when you're winning, when you're 1-0 up with 15 minutes to go, right? Mourinho's not thinking, I need to bring on a striker to get him minutes. He's thinking, I need to seal these points. And I know it hasn't worked and whatnot, we've dropped points and things like that, but I'm just trying to get into Mourinho's thinking of why Vinicius maybe hasn't had too much game time in these games.
How would it not help taking off someone like Kane, giving him a bit of a rest, bringing on Vinicius? It will help them both because Kane gets his rest, which he really, really needs, and Vinicius gets the minutes to bring his match fitness up.
Yeah, but in the Premier League, you only get 3 subs, so he has to make these subs very carefully. And I'm guessing Mourinho would rather bring on someone to shore up the result, make sure you get the points, than bring on Vinicius and give him minutes.
Yeah,
which I can understand, but however frustrating that is. And maybe we'll see we'll see a bit more of him in the second half of the season. I hope so, because we haven't. It's a difficult one because he's done well with the games he had, but it's hard to judge him on that because the opposition's not been the greatest. So maybe, in the second half of the season, Europa League knockout stages, he might get a bit more minutes. Maybe in the later other rounds in the FA Cup, he might get a bit more minutes. So we'll have to wait and see. But it's I think the jury's still out right now on Vinicius, but he couldn't have really done more with the minutes he's had than he already has, because he's done pretty well by and large with his goal scoring rate and assists as well. He gets a few assists, so I feel bad for him that he hasn't had the opportunities, but at least he's done as much as he could have with the minutes he's had.
Look, it's a long season. I think he'll get his opportunities. Look, let's move on to the substitutes. Let's start off with Alfie Devine. We gave him a 9. Put himself in the Tottenham history books, the youngest player ever to play in a competitive game, and obviously the youngest player to ever score in a competitive game. 16 years of age. This guy is an absolute sensation, and I thought he really grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck when he came on. Really showed a positive attitude. He was getting in and amongst it. The Marine players couldn't deal with him at times. He really couldn't. And his goal, the way he took his goal, a lovely back heel from Lucas Moura and a lovely, lovely finish at the front post from Alfie Devine. How he crept it in there with such small space for the goal as well. I really thought it was a sensational finish.
Yeah, he seems so confident, doesn't he, for a young player? Mm-hmm. He seems like he was not scared at all to be getting on the ball, always asking for the ball, floating around all over the pitch, getting on the ball and making challenges as well, making tackles, interceptions. For a 16-year-old, he really seemed impressive and confident in his own ability, and there was a reason why we paid Wigan 300,000 for a 15-year-old, and we can see it now. Apparently Mourinho was there when he was had his medical, because he sees a lot of potential in Alfie Devine, and maybe he could be fast-tracked. Maybe not now this season, but maybe in a couple of seasons time, we could be seeing more of him, because this guy seems like he's a few stages above other youth players of his age, for sure.
At the end of the day,
the way he's playing.
He's 16. He's in the under-18 squad.
Yeah.
There's a squad above him in the under-23s, and he seems to be well above most of those players. Maybe not Jack Clark and Harvey White and what have you.
And he seems physically as well. You can see it doesn't seem like a 16-year-old when you look at him. He seems like well built, like he's quite big for his age.
And you're forgetting he's the one in the Spurs under-23s match that had that thing with Danny Drinkwater. He went in with Danny Drinkwater, and Danny Drinkwater felt the need to have a big go at him, didn't he?
He got sent off, didn't he, Alfie Devine? But he has a bit of spice about him, doesn't he? He's got a bit of fight about him. He has that bit of that mentality. Tanganga was saying good words about him after the game, about how he's a player with a lot of potential, and he was saying, you should take his chance when you get the minutes on the pitch. And I thought he really did that. I was really impressed with how he played, and especially as a 16-year-old, I don't care really who the opposition was. When you're 16 that age, and when you're playing against players a lot older than you, it'll be very easy for him to be just muscled out the game and physically out of the game. But he wasn't at all. It was completely the opposite. And I thought he was not scared at all, and he was really confident getting on the ball, and a really nice finish, really nice goal. You can see how he just cuts inside sharply, gets his shot away, and gets into the bottom corner. Really nice finish, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of him in the future.
Very impressive. Let's move on to Japhet Tanganga. We gave him a 7. I thought defended well, did much what was asked for him, but nothing really too much of note.
Yeah, quiet game for him. I felt second half didn't have much to do. Him and Rodin patrolled the back line comfortably, and not much of note for Japhet.
Let's talk about the last 3 subs. We're not going to give them a rating just because when they came on, the game was absolutely done 5-0. Jack Clark, Gareth Bale, both fairly unimpressive, weren't they?
Clark, linked up quite well with Reguilon-ish on the left-hand side. He wasn't really... What I feel like from Jack Clarke is he was very deep and he was kind of finding Reguilon a lot on the overlaps. But when he's the winger on the left-hand side, I want to see him, especially against a team like Marine, have the confidence to take on his fullback, try and get in the box, try and get a cross into some assists. And he just seemed to be playing within himself a bit. He seemed to be getting the ball a lot and looking for an overlap or looking for a pass inside instead of having that confidence as a winger to really make an impact and make an impression, and he just didn't.
I felt that he was very crowded when he got the ball, though, because it was very congested in there. And it was hard for him because, you get the ball and you've suddenly got 3 or 4 men around you every time you get the ball. I mean, it's very difficult, especially for a player of his age.
Yeah, but I want to see him try things. I want to, you're 5-0 up with 20 minutes to go. You need to make an impression. And I felt like he was a bit too timid on the ball. And I felt, when you saw Devine come on, he was really looking to make an impression. I just felt like Clarke didn't really do that when he came on.
All right. Reguilon as well came on for the last 15 minutes. He was going up and down the left-hand side but still not much time. Let's finish.
And just a quick mention on Bale, didn't really do much. He had a couple of nice turns and he had one shot which completely scuffed it wide, but and a free kick which nearly forced a mistake from the keeper, but he didn't do much other than that.
Let's finish off with Jose Mourinho. Give him an 8. It can be kind of, when you play a team of this level that you don't take the game as seriously as kind of you should. And I don't think that was the case today. I think, we went out there, we played our game, we got the job done early, exactly what the game plan was asking for. You look at kind of, everyone talks about Jose Mourinho, how he says that he doesn't give chance to the youth, this, that. Now he's given the debuts to Japhet Tanganga, who's sealed himself in the first team squad. He's given the debut to White. He's given a debut to Alfie Devine, Jack Clarke as well. So you've got to say that these kind of myths about Jose Mourinho and young players are clearly not true. Alfie Devine, now the youngest player ever to pull on a Spurs shirt, the youngest player ever to score a goal. Japhet Tanganga got man of the match on his debut. So these myths are completely false. But in terms of the game, I thought that he managed the game well. What can I say? A 5-0 against Marine.
Yeah, I think he managed the squad well. That's the main thing. We got the game won early, got it won in the first half. Then on the second half, we got to see a few youngsters get some nice minutes, get involved in the game. And I thought he did well with the management of the squad. He left Kane and Son on the bench or at home, which was the right thing to do in this fixture, and gave some confidence-boosting minutes for Carlos Vinicius and Dele Alli and these kind of players who both had good performances. And I think, how getting the youngsters involved well. Starting Harvey White, didn't have to do that. It would have been very easy for him to have gone with other options, but he decided to trust him in this game, and that paid off. And I think he's, especially given the games we've got coming up, I think he did well with the management of the squad, and I think it was a good day all round for us.
Yeah, and some nice moments after the game with Jose Mourinho presenting the Marine squad with, I think it was 15 or 16, however many players were in the squad. He gave them all fresh shirts because obviously with COVID, they weren't allowed to swap shirts. So he gave them all fresh shirts from the Spurs. And he also, Sacramento gave their manager the kind of sheet analysis of what they did on their team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
that's quite fun.
That's quite funny.
And also, there was a coach, I believe, the sub-keeper for Marine. Apparently, before the game, said he wanted to ask Jose Mourinho personally for a Tottenham training top or something. And Mourinho apparently after the game seeked him out and gave him his own personalised Spurs goalkeeper shirt with his name on the back. After the game.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
so that's also a nice touch. He seems to be doing quite a lot of these things, Jose, since he's been appointed manager at Spurs. He seems to be I don't know, like a few times in press conferences and stuff, he's like happy to do like nice things for people.
And he gets a lot of bad rap in the press, Jose Mourinho, but I think it's all unjust. I mean, most of it anyway.
I'm not saying, I don't think he's all unjust, but I would say, he definitely has a bit of a bias against him because of his personality, because he's got a big ego and he's very confident in himself. But I think at the end of the day, I think Jose, he's one of the best managers of all time, and I think he has a great he's a great man manager, and I think he's proved it a lot. And despite him falling out with a certain amount of players, I think most players you see speak very, very highly of him and how he manages the team and how he manages individuals. And I think that's one of his strengths, apart and not one of his weaknesses, which people say is.
And you look at whenever Mourinho talks about a player in the press, he automatically gets berated, saying, "Oh, he shouldn't be doing this, he shouldn't be doing that." With the Ndombele thing, the Dele Alli thing. And then you look at Pochettino, who straight away called out Kylian Mbappe after his first game. If Jose Mourinho did that, he would get absolutely slated by everyone. So I just think that he needs to be treated a bit more fairly in the press.
You look at Pochettino exiled a lot of players in his time at Tottenham, a lot, especially at the beginning, and he never got flack for that. He got praise for that. Yeah. So I don't know why Mourinho always is the one who gets flack for putting a player in the doghouse if he feels he's not putting up to it. And I think it's right. Trust me, if a player was good enough and doing the job, Mourinho would put him in. I really don't doubt that for a second. So there's always a reason for his actions, and I have full belief at the moment we're in the right direction. Oh, look, at the moment, is there any club still in full competitions? I think we're the only one in the league at the moment.
Man City?
Are they? Oh, City. I guess they're still in all 4 competitions. That's fair enough. So us and City at the moment, only clubs.
Well, clearly, because we're the only 2 in the cup final, and the FA Cup just started.
FA Cup just started, yeah, but it's still in Europe and as well, and also within 4 points of the top with a game in hand. So I think we're going good at the moment. You can't really complain where we're at. It all has the potential to unravel very quickly, but it all has the potential to have all the makings of a great season. So at the moment, nothing too much to complain about as a Spurs fan.
And the other just quick point I want to mention, there was a really nice moment after the game, because obviously when Ben Davies went off, Gareth Bale got the captain's armband.
Yeah.
Then after the game, Gareth Bale went over to Ledley King and put the captain's armband back on him, because obviously Ledley King is the original skipper.
He's skipper.
He is the skipper, captain, still is the skipper. And obviously he was Gareth Bale's skipper when Gareth Bale was at Spurs 7 years ago. So that was a really nice moment. But yeah, just wanted to leave you on that. That is our player ratings. Let me know in the comments section below if you agree. If you disagree, let me know your ratings in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always,
come on you Spurs.